Hello, Jack. It's Alyssa. Before I begin this, I wanted to say, sorry, my computer, whatever, is that thank you so much for your patience. For some reason, I have tried to do your chart reading 3 times, and each time my computer fucks the fuck up. And I'm trying to figure out what your chart does to my computer, because it's not me. It's obviously you and your chart. That's crazy. And then I had to fully believe that you have a lot of psychic energy going on. I really think you do. I mean, I can see it in your chart too. You have Mars conjunct your ascendant, you have Uranus conjunct Neptune conjunct your descendant, and you have Jupiter conjunct your IC in your midheaven, and I see at 29 degrees in Pisces and Virgo. You have so much energy. And okay, yeah, ooh, we have Pluto conjunct Venus. You have a lot of these crazy conjunctions. And when anything conjuncts your ascendant, descendant, midheaven, I see those things add this psychic ability, this super strong intuition, this crazy amount of energy that can actually, transcend space and time. So I'm receiving it from you when I try to read your chart. I'm really hoping this works because I feel like it's taken me so long to do your chart, and it's taken me long to do everybody's chart, but yours is such a big deal. You have a really big deal for a chart. And you're just such a lovely Libra, and I just love Libras. Oh my gosh, oh wait, no, oh phew, okay. I got so confused for a second. I looked at the wrong chart. I looked at your progressive chart. See, I told you, this is just so messed up, but you really do have a lot of psychic energy. So we're technically the same person because we're both Libras with Taurus moons. I have a Pisces ascendant, you have a Cancer ascendant, yada, yada, yada. It's same difference, right? Your moon is in the 11th house though, and your sun is in the 4th. This is really interesting because, okay, so you don't have any sort of bad aspects between your moon and your sun, but they don't necessarily meet up in a great place. Your sun, being in Libra in the 4th house, has the desire to do things that are comfortable and always know how to center yourself and understand what you need. Your sun wants to really feel dive into your needs, and it makes things like being in a relationship a little bit hard because if somebody's not understanding your needs, you're kind of well, I know myself and I know that I don't want to be with you. You can give somebody too much, but once in a while you're able to step back. You snap back into place and you're oh, I know who I am. I don't need you. So you have this inner confidence, and having Jupiter right on your IC can sometimes mean you're a spoiled person. It can mean you came from a great affluent community. It can also just mean you have a strong amount of confidence, and it was built into you by your family. For generations, you've had a confident family, and actually normally money comes from that, because having a confident family means that your family has probably accumulated money over the years by working hard for it and being appreciated for it, and you've got the brunt of that, if that makes sense. You have what it takes to carry on that in your family name. So the only problem with your Jupiter is that it's just not aspected. So you have this confidence, but it's very hard to find somebody who understands you, who can really truly get to know you and know where you're coming from, and not to be put off by any of your behavior that might seem different to them, because you are who you are. Being a Libra, you naturally want to connect to people. You're very relational, and you really want to be with somebody and to give them everything. And having a Cancer ascendant, you feel like it's your job to take care of people and nurture them, to make them understand reality, and you want to bring them down to you here in this reality. But they don't always want to go there. And so that's why your Mars is in your 1st house, as almost a way to push people to following your lead, because you know what's best for them. And so you have a lot of intuition, and so you really do feel on a regular basis that you know what is best for people. And I mean, it's really impressive, but it's also like sometimes people don't want what's best for them, and so you just have to let them go. That's like a word of advice I'd give to you, is that some people, most people, they have to figure out things on their own. And I know this too, like I'll see potential in somebody and I'm like, oh my gosh, you should do this now. I'm going to help you get here because I wish I would have known at my age, at your age, like what I know now. So if I can give you this information, you're going to use it wisely. And they never do. It's like too much too soon for most people, and it's very disappointing and upsetting, and you're going to experience more of that as you get older. You know it's best, but nobody wants to take it, and that's fucking frustrating, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So, you just have to allow yourself to let them go and fail. Now, your emotions are in the 11th house, and in this way, it means that you tend to not want people to know when you're emotional, and having a moon in Taurus, you are good at hiding your emotions, and you don't get very emotional about things. But the problem is it's opposing your mind, which is in Scorpio and in the 5th house. So in a way, you want to rally people to understand the things that you're thinking. You bring people in and create drama with your own mind, and so people can see your genius. But emotionally, you're like, well, no one, look over here. I don't want any of this. I'm here to serve other people. So it's opposing itself. And actually, what you have to do here is find balance, because you are smart. You are highly intelligent, and you're worth for people listening to and, reveling in your intelligence. The only thing is that since your emotions directly oppose that, you're not giving your emotional mind any love, and that's the strongest pull of you is your moon. And it's a Taurus moon, so it's beautiful. I know this. It's like the best placement for a moon ever. You actually have very good emotions. You are very emotionally sound. Your mind, however, in Scorpio is chaotic. And you shouldn't trust your mind as much as you trust your emotions. Your mental capacity is slower. It digs too deep. Because Scorpio Mercury, which is what you have, digs so deep. You don't just talk to people. You dig. Like, you listen, you observe, and you dig for information constantly. Like, what is this person really saying to me? I'm going to figure that out. And then on occasion, you might even tell them what you found, which people don't like. Yeah, I've learned that. People hate it when you tell them about themselves, and they get annoyed with it. They're like, okay, cool, I could have just told you that if you asked. But as your Scorpio Mercury wants to get to the bottom of things, and so you observe people more than you ask questions, and you take on a lot while you're just trying to converse, which means then you feel like, I don't know, tired of it and kind of bored of people, and it makes you crawl into yourself because it's a big thing, and it's in your 5th house. So your 5th house is all about happiness, and you want to make that happy. And Scorpio and Mercury, they don't make your 5th house happy because it exhausts you. There's too much going on. And so that's why I say you go to your Taurus moon, which, see here, Taurus cares to an extent about other people's sadness. Not enough to hurt themselves, and not enough to hurt another person. Taurus is pretty much like, I want to be comfortable. I want you to be comfortable. We're all going to be comfortable here. And if you're not, I'm not going to ask too many deep questions about your emotional stability. I don't want you asking too many questions about my emotional stability. We're just going to eat good food and watch a movie and curl up with blankets, and we're all going to feel better. Which is a lot easier on your body, on everything, on your anxiety, if you rely on this moon. But because your Mercury needs to process people, to look inside people, and your moon needs to not do any of that, you have to balance it out. Otherwise, one of them will be kind of killed, and you don't want to kill one of them. And I'm going to go ahead and say that one of them dies on a regular basis anyway, because normally that's just the way it is. And in opposition, you got one or the other. I have moon opposite Saturn. I'm either an emotional wreck, or I have no emotions whatsoever and I am a raging bitch. For you, you're either all emotions, but your emotions are like, they're like mine and they're all about just being nice and comfortable and eating food, or your mind is going crazy and you're trying to figure out these things. And you can almost suffer from a little bit of paranoia when you go too much in your mind. But you need that to survive. It's just your way. It's just who you are. Eminem is a Libra with a Scorpio Mercury. He gets to the bottom of shit. He's like a Libra, so he's so cool, like we are. And then he's got your Scorpio Mercury, so he can just say whatever is on his mind, and he can really get down to the bottom of super amounts of social issues. This is what you have. It's your ability. It's in the 5th house. You could probably be a rapper. Yeah, you have Pluto conjunct Venus in the 5th house too. So yeah. Anyway, find balance. And the way you find balance is not allowing yourself to be emotional without logically analyzing your emotions, and not allowing yourself to logically analyze people or yourself without having a little bit of emotional empathy behind it. You need to be able to think about what other people want before you try to psychoanalyze them, because people can tell when you're doing it and they don't like it, and that upsets you in a way too. So you need to know if, and side note, psychoanalyzing people is very bad for you on a regular basis because you're taking in too much of their crap. You're understanding too much of the deepness and the darkness of these evil people, because people are evil. And when you can see that, you take it on yourself, and it drives you crazy slowly and slowly. Slowly and slowly. So it just happens very slowly, and all of a sudden you've accumulated a lot of other people's bullshit and evil inside of you. And that's where your Taurus moon really needs to come and protect you. And so once you find this balance that I spent 6 minutes talking about just now, you'll be great. I really feel like oppositions are the things that need to be talked about on a regular basis, because they're the things that upset you. Kind of like this, opposition's a lot easier for me to say to you, but it does affect your life more on a very shallow level. That is your Mars opposite Uranus conjunct Neptune, because your Mars is in your 1st house and Uranus and Neptune are in your 7th house. So, to be yourself, to be you, to get what you want, it directly opposes everything you need in a relationship. Being in a relationship is extremely difficult for you. You're attracted to people that you shouldn't be attracted to, and you're confused by people, and people deceive you. And that really then affects your Jupiter on your IC and your Sun in the 4th house that knows yourself really well, that knows the things that you need to have, that your confidence, it's completely all affected by everybody around you. And now I'm going to say that your confidence is the most important part in your chart. Your ability to be confident, because your Chiron's in the 2nd house, which means you lacked value growing up. It was not given to you. For some reason, your parents, your family didn't know how to instill value in you to make you feel like you were worth something. Maybe you felt good about yourself in a weird way, but the value that you had in yourself, the fact that you felt like your voice was worth anything, if your ego, like who you were born into, this body, was worth anything. But as you've gotten older, it's your Chiron, it's your wounded healer. This means that you've gained value. You have value in yourself, and you've worked really hard. You've worked really hard to make sure that you get value. Make sure that people see what you have and that you see what you have. And so nowadays, you help people find their own value. Insecure people, like, there are people in this life who make fun of insecure people. There are. I see it all the time. Like, people, like, update their statuses on Facebook, and they're all like, I taught my daughter not to trust insecure people, and, insecure people take advantage of you, and all this kind of stuff. And, like, it's like they're all of a sudden a bad breed of human, right? But having your Chiron in Leo in the 2nd house makes you fully aware that people who are insecure, they're sad stories. Why is someone insecure? What drives them to insecurity? Why do they hate themselves? That they do bad things to other people? Should we write them off and say don't talk to them, or is there something that we can do to make them love themselves? Just the way that there's something that you did for yourself that made you love yourself, that made you know who you were. And that's what your Chiron in the second house is. Part of your life purpose is to just tell people that they're worth something, that they deserve a good life, because you know you do. And if you don't, if you're working on that still, I'm going to let you know, you do. You absolutely deserve a good life, and you are that person that's going to tell other people they do too. Another thing that adds to you is your Venus conjunct Pluto. Venus conjunct Pluto is your closest conjunction, so it kind of sets the tone of your chart. Say for me, my Venus conjunct Mars, which is similar but different. You're more explosive on sexual terms. This means you're very sexy. I don't know what you look like, but you're a Libra, so you're probably super charming, and you have this Venus conjunct Pluto. Part of Venus conjunct Pluto, though, means that, now I was laughing about this, and then I'll have to get serious about this, especially in your 5th house, could mean that something affected you in the 5th house early on. If you were exposed to sexuality as in the means of love, which can happen with Venus conjunct Pluto, that maybe you didn't understand Pluto, or you didn't understand love with also body attached to it, with also somebody taking advantage of your body. And so now it's this thing, it's like, if I love somebody, I also give them every part about me. And the thing is with your Venus conjunct Pluto is that you can't do that. Like, Pluto is a lot of deep sex, and then it's trining Mars, and so it's a lot about sex. And love for you has to get on this very deep emotional level because Pluto's there. But not in a sexual way, because it will destroy you every time. Even if you want to believe that it won't, it just will. Because there's an issue there, like a pent up something is there inside of you that you need to work out. And I don't know what it is, and don't worry, I don't tell anybody about this stuff. Everybody has sexual issues. Hands down. I have so many. But I'm not telling you about them. We all just do. But for you, you just have to learn that how potent your love is, and how expressive you are, and how amazing you are, and how much of an ability you have to love. But if you love the wrong people, if you put your heart into the hands of the wrong people, they will destroy that ability. And you'll have to build it up again. Because Pluto's all about destroying and building it up. And so at least you want to be with people who respect you and who give a shit about you and your needs and your wants and the things that you like. And you don't have to take from anybody, and no one has to take from you. And of course, we learn this by going through it. So I'm not going to tell you how to, be in a certain way. But there might just be that point in your life where you're like, I'm kind of done with all this because it's very destructive for me. Having in your 5th house makes you very creative and explosively creative. You can achieve great feats sometimes, and other times you're completely lethargic and can't do anything. Sometimes you're so happy and sometimes you're not, almost like a bipolar situation. But it's not bipolar as much as it's by beauty. By beauty, that doesn't make sense. There should be a better word. When you understand that things are beautiful and that things are ugly. And sometimes the things that you create are beautiful, and sometimes the things you create are ugly. And that's how you feel about things. The world is beautiful, and then the world is ugly. And when the world is beautiful, you can achieve so many things, and if you wish it, you can make it happen. And if it's ugly, there's no reason to put on your clothes and get outside, because fuck the world. And that's, Pluto adds this bipolar to whatever it's conjuncting, and since it's conjuncting your Venus, that's what it is. Can I call that bi beautiful, bi ugly, bipolar beauty? Whatever, you probably can think of something better, because you're a little smarter than me. Don't tell anybody. Also, I'm just totally relying on your Scorpio Mercury to read between the lines of everything I'm saying and to get your actual real chart reading from me. Because of this horrible thing. Did you know that my camera, since doing this, has stopped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times? 5 times while trying to do this video reading. And this is like the first time, like I've had to do it, and I would start your video reading and it would turn off after 5 seconds. And I would start it again and it would turn off after 5 seconds. I couldn't get it recorded. And so now at least it's going like a few minutes before it dies again. In conclusion, you are one of those people with a very beautiful soul. The depths of you is, you know, it's amazing. You have amazing depths. That Jupiter conjunct IC also creates amazing depths, because it's all about expansion, and that's your lowest point. That's your depth there. It's expanded to all eternity. Deep down inside of you, you are a great, powerful human being. And that means that pushes you into this world to make you that way on the outside. And the one word of advice I'd say is that you can't make people come with you. You can't change their minds by forcing it. The only way you can do this is to do your own shit. You will be successful, and people are just going to follow you naturally. But you have a lot of things to say. You have a great ability to lead. And you have a lot of things to learn before you get there. Your Saturn's retrograde, which means it's going to take you a little bit longer to feel the security I talk about. And I say this confidence that you have. I'm starting to now see at the very end of this whole thing is that all of these factors, they come later on in life, and so you're gaining them. But you might have started out in this world insecure. You're going to leave it being completely confident, powerful, strong. You just have to face the lessons as they come, and to make yourself better every time. And don't be a victim. Be a survivor. Push through everything. And yeah, I'm gonna see you again in like 10 years, and you're gonna have accomplished like so much. And that is your tarot reading, Jack. Thank you again for waiting for it. You are lovely, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.